The final and third step to building resiliency is to welcome all that comes to your gate, good and bad, as being a teacher. This is what is meant by the Buddhist phrase, the obstacle is the path. It is more than just dealing with struggle. It is welcoming it. I'm not saying we enjoy it. It sometimes can suck. I mean, right now, as my military friends would say, we are in the middle of the big suck. Maybe the biggest suck of our modern history. Finding the learnings can be painful and very hard, but it is the path. A helpful tool can be found in this story, a story so famous you will know the punchline as soon as I tell you. It has to do with a king who suffered mightily from a roller coaster of emotion. One day he'd be up and happy, enjoying the bounty of his life. The next he'd be down, sad at the overwhelm of it all. When he could take it no longer, he called for his wise man, i.e. his life coach, to help him manage his life. After listening carefully, his wise man reached into his pocket, pulled out a small but beautifully carved box of rare wood, inlaid with mother of pearl and rare and precious jewels. Do not look at the outside, he said. That is just wrapping paper. Inside the box is your answer. When the king opened the box, he found a simple gold ring, strangely simple because of the container that held it. But on that ring was carved the following phrase, a phrase every one of you knows, a phrase your grandmother probably taught you as a child, as did mine. On that ring was one short sentence. This too shall pass. The secret to building the third step is to remember that no matter what, when things are awful, and yes, they have been and will continue to be awful for a while, maybe a long while, the trajectory of your life, no matter what, no matter how hard, no matter how tragic, no matter what struggles await, whatever it is, it too shall pass. In my work, I have heard the worst stories you could imagine. Rape, death of a child, financial collapse, addictions of all sorts, cancer, deep suicidal depressions. But in almost all of those stories, what is true is that the people I have worked with got to the other side. It is the great mystery of the human mind that life's lessons are usually only learned in the rearview mirror and rarely through the front windshield. And yet, here we are, still. As a Buddhist friend of mine says, if you are alive, then no problem. If you are dead, then definitely no problem. But that is only half of the message, because this too shall pass is also a reminder that on your good days, when things look bright and you have hope and beauty in your day, cherish it. Say your gratitudes. Stop and watch a cloud pass. See the beauty and kindness that is available to you and probably there if you choose to look. Because it is the nature of life that this too is temporary. This too shall pass. We can make the bad days go faster and the good ones seem longer by remembering to wake every morning and to metaphorically put on our rings. And are reminding ourselves that the message of this too shall pass is only a choice away. I remember my mom when she was 85 and with Alzheimer's telling me in a cogent moment that after my father died and left her alone with 4 small children and terrified, oftentimes she'd lie on the bed in a ball, just frozen. One day she got up, stared in the mirror and said to herself, "You can do this. You know how to do this. Your kids are depending on you. Now, do this." And she did, rising to spectacular levels of success in the state court system of Pennsylvania. This attitude is captured beautifully in a favorite poem of mine by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's called Refuse. Refuse to fall down. And if you cannot refuse to fall down, then refuse to stay down. And if you cannot refuse to stay down, then lift your heart to the heavens like a hungry beggar and ask that it be filled, and it will be filled. You can be pushed down. You can be kept from rising, but nobody can keep you from lifting your heart to the heavens except you. In the middle of misery, much becomes clear. Those who say no good will come from this are not yet listening. Emily Smith, who authored The Power of Meaning, says, life is, as Buddhists say, 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. As much as we might wish, none of us can avoid suffering. That's why it's important to learn to suffer well. Personally, I love the teaching from my own Jewish tradition. It says in the Talmud that each person should always carry 2 pieces of paper in his or her pocket. On one slip of paper, it should say, the universe was created just for me. On the other, it should say, I am nothing but dust and ash. The secret to life? Know when to read which piece of paper.